Right, we're going to look now at how to produce something using the revolve command. This might be useful for the lens, it might be useful if you've got an unusual shaped button. I'm just going to open up a new tab and show you in a new drawing. So the simplest way to do it is if we choose a plane and we draw an axis, and then either using the straight line tool, series of curves, you could use the trim command again like we have done before, you produce a shape. After you've got that shape, view it in isometric, if you go to create, it's one that says revolve. Here it's looking for a few little commands, so it's looking for the profile, and the profile is the shape, so we can select that. We then click axes, and the axis is the bit that it spins around, it revolves around. So I'm going to click that line there. As you can see, it's produced a shape. It's a bit like a spinning top or a vase or something like so. Most of the time I imagine we'd be using it 360 degrees, but you can do a whole range of other angles depending on what it is that you're trying to produce. Okay. Obviously, if you change the axes, select that one for instance, it would change the shape completely. Like so. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have a go at showing you how to do a lens. With lots of the CAD things, there's not one right or wrong way to do it. This is just an example. So this is a little bit more tricky, but it might be quite useful in showing you another few kind of commands. So at the moment, I've got my sort of lens in here. Do it using the hidden edges as well. Hopefully you can kind of see it better. But it's flat. And most lenses on cameras aren't flat. So we're going to try and make it so it's slightly curved. To do that, what we're going to do, the easiest way I think, is to produce it separately and then kind of stick it on. So what we're going to do first, we're going to go to construct, and we want to have an axis. So this one is an axis through a cylinder. It's asking me to select the cylinder. I'll select that cylinder, and now you can see there's a blue line running through the center of my camera there. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw the side shape of it. Okay, so I'm going to view it from this side, and I'm going to do a sketch, and for this I think I'm going to do an ellipse. It's asking what face to draw it on. It doesn't really matter to begin with. I'm going to draw it on this face, and I'm going to produce my my ellipse. Okay, so obviously you can determine how big you want it to be. I'm going to go for something like that. But with the revolve command, we're going to use this line running through the center there as the axis. So I don't want all of this shape. I don't want the bits that go underneath. So I'm going to get rid of them using the trim command. So draw myself some lines like so. And we're going to use the trim command again, like we used before. Trim that bit off there, that bit there, there and there. So I'm just left with this kind of quarter shape. Now as you can see, it's not where I want it to be. But I'll show you something quite cool in a minute, how to move things, which might also be useful. So you can zoom out like so if you want. In fact, I might still spin mine round how it was. I'm going to go to create, revolve, go through the same process. So it's asking for the profile, which is that, and the axis. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to select the bit in between like so. So you can see it's spun around. It's gone red. Usually if it's red, it means there's a cut or an error. So here it's saying cut. I don't want it to cut. And we've got some different options. If it was join, it's going to kind of stick it to that part. And I don't want to stick it to that part because I want to move it in a moment. And if I'm going to move it, I'm going to produce a new component. So this is going to be its own separate little piece. And press OK. Now you can see over here I've got another component. So I've got my camera, which is the main part, and then this component, which I can toggle on and off with a little light bulb so I can see it or not. Okay? So that's a separate piece at the moment. Obviously it's not in the right place, so I want to move it. And to move it, I go to Assemble and Joint. It's asking me for component 1. I'm going to select component 1. I'm going to select the center of the bottom piece of there. It's automatically gone to component 2 in the window over here. And I'm going to select the center of this bit. As if by magic, it should be in the right place. And then I've got my kind of curved part of my lens in the inside of the camera. If you think it needs to be slightly bigger, then obviously you can edit that in the window in the usual way, or you can do it a little bit of kind of trial and error. But hopefully you'll be able to see the benefit of using this using the Revolve command.